and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Beyond the Summit presentation of the iLeague Season 3 Dota 2 Chinese qualifiers. Here we've got Newbee Miracle versus Team Braveheart, and we're going to be going into the second game of this two-game series. Newbee Miracle really just putting on a clinic in that first game. Really great execution of team fights, good manipulation of the gyrocopter and the Enigma. Some great black holes coming out, and nothing to stop them. But I really feel what hurt Braveheart the most was their draft. I mean, the Night Stalker and Zeus just didn't do what they were supposed to for majority of the game. Zeus ended up feeding the offlane. Night Stalker, a support duo with the Earthshaker, felt like it just couldn't make the impact it wanted. And yeah, in the end, it feels like it was a little bit thrown together. So maybe they'll get something more consistent this time around. They're opening up with the Earthshaker Shadow Fiend, which has served many teams well in the past. And we'll see how Newbee Miracle respond to that. Right now, it's actually first pick Spirit Breaker from Newbee. Obviously, they did some good work there with their offlane player doing some good work. And then the Templar Assassin follow-through, perhaps, for HGK in the mid. So knowing that they're up against Earthshaker Shadow Fiend, they say TA is going to be the best hero in that context, and we'll see how many counters are actually thrown her way as the draft progresses.
Radiant team pick.
Alright, just got information that although I am solo casting now, myself being Blaze, for those that don't know, I am going to be getting a co-caster in for a couple games after this. So that we have 3 games left, including this one, and we'll be going for a dual cast immediately after the conclusion of this one here. Couldn't get him in time for this game, but we'll see him in just a little bit, and that'll be great. So phase 2, we're looking at Bristleback, going to be picked up for the side of Team Braveheart. Pretty interesting to see them put that one out there.
10 seconds remaining.
Does multiple instances of damage to a degree against the Templar Assassin, like every 3 seconds he's taking out a refraction charge. It's not the best, but if TA has a BKB, he's actually still one of the better ones, because obviously, generally speaking, physical and pure damage doesn't really have that over a time effect. Like I think the Timbersaw Chakram is probably one of the only things that falls into that category. So yeah, I would say the Bristleback probably a pretty solid pickup here, and gonna be making the Templar Assassin more difficult to maneuver in the fights. The Spirit Breaker doesn't get as good of a charge target, but I just feel like it's like an okay pick. It's like a good pick, but it's not like a great pick. I feel like Braveheart, to bring themselves back from what we saw from game 1, they need something huge. They need like a really resounding, powerful selection of heroes that would really just change the scope of the game. But instead, we see the Bristleback now going up against the Winter Wyvern. Miracle, you're going to be able to make use of this quite a bit, I think. It's really good in a supportive role, and I would say that, in my mind, that some of their most talented players are their supports. 5400 and Cold Snap have impressed me time and time again, so picking up the Wyvern in one of their hands should be really good. And along with the fact that we're seeing a lot of physical damage come out from Team Braveheart right now, Cold Embrace should be pretty potent, assuming the Requiem's already expended. You don't want to Cold Embrace with the Requiem online, because then you're just going to eat a lot of souls unless the Winter's Curse or something else disables him. They go for the Night Stalker again, though. Maybe they're going to run this as a support. Not exactly sure if they've learned a lesson from their last game, or they just think they need to do it a little bit differently. But as it is, it looks like it's going to be the Earthshaker Night Stalker duo of supports trying to zone out the Spirit Breaker again, unless they go for a bit of a lane swap here. They could run like a safe lane Bristleback and an off lane Earthshaker, but it's a little more awkward, less traditional for sure. So we'll see exactly what they want to do with it as their last pick comes out. For now, it's 3 melee heroes against a Wyvern that loves for enemies to clump up. So I am a little bit worried that they're going to be just all inside the same range of initiation, and Wyvern's going to be able to control them really well with Splinter Blast, with the Winter's Curse, etc. But you never know, maybe that silence is going to be all the more valuable, and Braveheart do pick up this Night Stalker quite frequently.
10 seconds remaining.
I just generally see it paired with a different support. Sometimes you see it paired with the Rubik, the Venge, a Lion maybe, but seeing a lot of that banned out here, it might still be the Earthshaker support, and I'm just not so sure. But we'll see. Right now, They're looking for perhaps one more core hero, perhaps one more support, hopefully something with range. That's what I gotta say, is you really don't want to be clumping up against this Wyvern, you don't want to be controlled to that degree, and I think they could benefit a lot more from kind of spreading their attack distance. The last ban coming through from Newbee.M, looking to take one of those types of heroes off the table. Taking into their reserve time, though, we'll see what they're kind of looking at here. They're definitely looking for a support hero, though. And they know the enemy has a first pick, so it's a tough call what they actually do want to ban out here, but they end up going with the Slark just in case.
Radiant team pick.
That's going to be the choice for Team Braveheart in case they kind of run Puerty with one of those aggressive melee carries. And of course, Slark is really good against the Brewmaster Drunken Haze, always takes that off in the middle of the fight, and the Dark Pact burns through Refraction pretty well too. But they go for something different, they go for Puerty's safe lane Centaur Warrunner, and this is more what I was thinking of. I mean, this is more along the lines of the tempo that Puerty likes to bring to his safe lane, and I actually expect a lot of better things from him as a result. Going in for blink plays, he gets that range, he gets that jump, he gets that ability to close the gap really quickly. And Stampede, of course, is a very powerful tool against heroes that don't have enough hard lockdown. And although the Winter's Curse is pretty solid, other than that, they are kind of lacking. They've got Cyclone, they've got Boulder Toss, Charge of Darkness, Nether Strike, Paralyzing Cask. All this is technically hard to disable, but most of these only last for, you know, 3/4 of a second, 1 second duration. It's not the longest of stuns, and the Stampede should still bail people out in a lot of situations. In fact, the Bristleback in particular will be extremely tanky here with the Centaur Warrunner, just because he's able to kind of move in and always choose his position well.
Prepare for battle.
Alright, and moving into the introductions here. Thanks for tuning in once again, guys. This is Braveheart versus Newbee.M. And let's talk about this draft. This time we're going to be seeing Shure picking up the Night Stalker and getting involved very early, but he is going to be running it as a support as best I can tell. Yeah, so support Night Stalker, support Earthshaker once again, but this time we're seeing Teal actually pick up the Earthshaker and see what he can do with it. So a little bit of a flip-flop as far as those roles go, just trying to make sure they get the right chain of initiation they're looking for. They obviously didn't accomplish what they wanted to with their draft last time around. Puerty on the Centaur Warrunner will take that to the safe lane. 86 looking for the Bounty Rune to take Shadow Fiend to the mid. We're actually going to see some pinks coming out here. The ward, oh my, just out of range, it looks like, or at least they're not comfortable with killing it off just yet. Yeah, they see it. They're going to go for it, but it is, you know, 1v2 right now at least, and they're going to just sentry it out, try to take this thing down. I haven't seen any wards tangoed yet, but there you go. Anyways, the sentry's gone, and they are able to take it down.
The battle begins.
And now we're going to see the Void do some good attack speed, so they'll stomp on the Spirit Breaker too, so we'll halt those introductions pretty early on. They'll have to break the cask, make sure that that doesn't come through, but the important thing is they kill off the sentry ward, so they maintain control of this position, and 5400 almost goes down. The Void and right clicks puts him into a critical health range, and he's going to have to cask and then salve himself back up. So a lot of back and forth here, skirmishing already actively early. And salve and clarity for the Night Stalker too. So anyways, yeah, we talked about the safe lane, talked about the mid lane. Dog 7 on the Bristleback will be going up top, and he does have that Enchanted Mango, which is going to help him a lot in this lane situation, as far as trying to turn things around. But for now, he's going to take a lot of damage from the Arctic Burn, the Thunderclap. Going to be right-click down significantly, but still alive, and will salve himself back up. Meantime, Puerty taking a lot of damage here. Paralyzing Cast, they get the bash, they get the first blood against the Centaur, just with a little bit of RNG. Now going to get the boots of speed. Greater Bash going to do that much more, and man, that is a really bad way to start off this lane. It's because the Earthshaker is so set on helping out this mid lane. Essentially, he wants to go ahead and make sure that 86 has a good time up against the TA. As you see, he's actually struggling in last hits right now. Couldn't get any Necromastery up until this point. And then he's also stacking for him and building up this hard camp. So, all well and good for 86, trying to set him up for success, but it cost them Puerty in the bottom lane. That first blood due to bashes is a frustrating one, but it's one that you have to expect sometimes.
Not today.
And the Night Stalker just isn't that zoning support they want. He can't get involved here. He really, like, has limited exposure. If he trade hits with the Night Stalker, the Spirit Breaker's going to win out majority of the time. I mean, unless there's no bashes involved at all, the Spirit Breaker trades hits so much better than the Night Stalker can. And so Night Stalker has to time his attacks very carefully. He can't go for extended engagements. Oh, Boundary Rune block out here. He's going to get the Haste Rune. Nice pickup for him. But it does cost him his last clarity in terms of mana. HGK going to get the boots out here. Already has the bottle finished out. And you compare that to 86, who's actually having to get his bottle out very delayed, thanks to the fact that the courier was in use before. But finally, we do see Captain Bamboo making his rotations with the bottle, then with the salve, so that both lanes can get the sustain they need. And we'll see how that 4-minute mark play breaks down. Like, normally speaking, I would say 86 actually wants to, like, just use the bottle entirely and then go and bottle crow it. But they have a ground courier and they have a healing salve in this thing, so I don't think he gets that luxury. Now seeing bottom lane, there's going to be a Spirit Breaker taking some hits here. He will just charge right onto the Earthshaker. They're going to wait for the cask until it's better set up. It will bounce once, but they want one more good right click to finish off the Earthshaker. And the stun only connects on 5400. Still they double edge. They get one return kill, putting one on the board for Braveheart. And that's just going to be a charge away to the mid. That will be canceled immediately. Not sure about that, but if he's heading home anyways, the mana doesn't really matter. So, good movement here from Braveheart as a whole, trying to get that response, but Newbee.M seemed to be doing a lot better on this bottom lane. This Spirit Breaker, Witch Doctor dual lane is working out really well for them. They get another ward on the high ground. Radiant do see him place it, but I'm not seeing any pings, so they might not be paying attention. 1500 net worth now favors Newbee.M in the early game, but we could see it brought back if Braveheart can get a few more well-executed counter ganks. In the meantime, Bristleback exhausting all of his regen, even his Mango, and not able to get anything out of this top lane. 6 last hits, level 3.5. He goes and relegates himself to stacking Ancients. So that's going to be an option for him to farm up later on, but for right now, he's in a frustrated state of affairs where he really would love to be doing a lot better. But 86 does get the bottle off the Flying Courier, will bottle up a double damage rune. Critical time for him to pick this up and to get back in the game. We do see, however, the Spirit Breaker will charge successfully onto the center warner. Won't get the lucky bash, though, and we'll get it instead on the Earthshaker. 2 bashes. Oh my gosh, what a bash lord. This is what you could do with a Spirit Breaker who's just able to man up and get those free attacks off. And there's no hero to counter it. Now Shure's coming in, trying to get this last Void under 5400, but he'll be charged. One more bash could prevent this kill. No, they still get the Void. Puerty going for the stomp, but the double edge would be way too risky, and it's going to be Spirit Breaker to pursue. He'll just trade hits with whoever is in front of him, and it looks like it's going to be the Night Stalker. One more hit, one more charge, he gets the kill. Oh man, it's 2-0-2. What are you doing, Centaur? No! Centaur goes in, he's going for the play, the double stun, the double edge, and he right clicks him down at the last second. Oh, that was such a close situation. Could have gone either way, but good control with the Fissure and the Hoof Stomp, and they make it happen. Dog 7 back up here, just trying to hold position. Cold Snap in a good spot to just kind of zone him out. And now we see the charge coming into 86. I think they can commit with this with the refraction going in. There's no rotationary stun. The Void is not going to come out on the Spirit Breaker, so they will connect with the charge. Whether they pursue under the tower is a different story, though. The Hoof Stomp is dodged out. The Witch Doctor killed off just to the Night Stalker. And, yeah, that's an awkward spot for the Spirit Breaker to be, especially with the Bristleback coming in for the flank. Void connects, the right clicks are there, and he charges to the southeast, which may be his salvation. The E-Ray's not coming out from the Shadow Fiend to try to kill him off. Instead, we do see the Spirit Breaker making his way home. Dire Observer Ward showing up, the Night Stalker and the Shadow Fiend's positioning. They know exactly what's up here, but they're not going to be threatened. And another Ancient stack coming out here, it looks like. Double stack, at least, for the Bristle, so missed one of the two. But, yeah, getting Bristle involved here, he needs some levels. He needs to get to level 5 at least to look at those Ancients and tap into those. He's actually going to try to go for a pull here. I like that maneuver. With the tree already cut down, he doesn't even need to be in this kind of dangerous position here in order to go for the Radiant pull on the off lane. But it is going to be counteracted by Hansu. He's holding position here and ready to go for the Arctic Burn if Dog 7 oversteps his bounds at all. Still chilling out a little bit here across the map. It seems Passivity will strike for a couple of minutes here. And it's just going to be Shadow Fiend to farm up a few extra creeps, 29 Necromastery, and look for the next offensive. So Fisher will allow him to get some good direct damage on HEK, but the Refraction negates every single hit, and HEK just keeps farming away. So pretty unfortunate, but that's just dealing with the TA. You have to be able to manage her Refraction, and right now if you look at their abilities, the only thing they've got going for them is this Quill Spray. 3-second cooldown. That's going to do some Refraction dissipation, but otherwise they're committing some pretty heavy mana in order to actually chew through those charges. And if you think about it, there's also going to be other factors like the fact that Cold Embrace kind of takes a target out of the fight and keeps them surviving for a few extra seconds. Those few seconds could be enough for the Refraction to come back off cooldown, and then you could deal with 2 Refractions and 1 Cold Embrace in the fight, trying to bring down that TA. It's just too frustrating. Just too much. Now we see with the charge on cooldown to Stampede forward, and oh wow. Not the ideal play from the Spirit Breaker, but good use of the Stampede to punish him for it. Melt Strike going to force A6 to TP away. That Psionic Trap, just a very scary movement speed slow when it's fully charged.
This sustains gold.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
And double damage rune coming after the TA too. That's really big. The Radiant do know about it though. They have an Observer Ward on the Ancients. We're actually going to see the Blink jump onto Dog 7. So they're charging through. They're trying to bring him down. Whoa, that damage coming out of the Brewmaster. Barely negated by the Primal Split. And now they get the Cyclone onto the Shadow Fiend. Can they focus him down with this double damage rune? There's the Boulder. There's the big Melt Strike. And that's going to be the kill. So really, really good focus. Really good micromanagement by the Brewmaster. And now they go in and Cold Embrace him up so that we can kind of negate some of those heals. They even give him a bottle sip at the same time. So Newbee.M just really starting to build momentum. They're going to kind of look for a Death Ball strat now as they take down the Tier 1 top. And now rotate and spread a little bit here. Spirit Breaker back down bottom to try to prevent the Centaur Blink Dagger. That's his overall game plan here. Force him off the lane here. He doesn't have any mana, so he can't trade hits. And as a result, they can do some good damage directly to him. Want to inhibit that blink timing as much as they can. $3,500 net worth in favor of Newbee.M. Experience is about 2K though. They're just kind of clumping up a little bit. They're grouping up together. They didn't have a jungler for most of this game, so they aren't getting as much experience out of this, but they're still profiting overall in terms of map control, in terms of income. And with the side trap down on the Ancients, the TA should be able to scout out when the Bristleback's trying to do those. So that's pretty important as well. Let's look at levels. Right now we've got a level 4 Earthshaker and level 5 on the Spirit Breaker and the Witch Doctor. But what's really important, I would say, is the fact that Cold Snap does have this Winter's Curse available. Where T gonna get hit by this charge here, kind of looking for the rune, but seeing 2 people there, he just backs off. And the bottle is immediately used to get 86 that extra mana flow. Up top, we're going to see a small clash here, and with the Stampede, it might become a little bit bigger. We're going to see the Void, the right clicks, the Quill Sprays, but they don't want to group up against that Winter's Curse, and they're just going to fall back here. They really can't follow through with damage when he can just be embraced by the cold and healed right back up. We're actually going to see him jumping in after that heal. He's looking for the kill on Dog 7, gets the Thunderclap, and now they go for the Winter's Curse, but that curse did almost nothing, unfortunately. There was no some miscommunication between him and the Brewmaster, and of course it doesn't do any damage by itself, I don't believe. No, it just does damage based on who's attacking you. So we're going to see a smoke movement here. Going to see the Brewmaster again with that Blink Dagger looking to make a play. He has Primal Split if he needs it, but without Stampede, it should just be a clean kill without it. They're still going to split because they see a second target. They want to get both of them. Wind walking forward the Brew Panda to get the Cyclone onto the Earthshaker while they still focused on the Centaur damage-wise. So now they can dispel it, throw out the Boulder, got the charge, locking down the Earthshaker, and then there's no hope for him any longer. Great micromanagement. Really solid play coming in from the Brewmaster, and really just mastering that brew. Popping the ulti, using the micro, and doing what he needs to do to create space for his team. He's really a tempo controller here. So it really shows why they were putting so much emphasis on giving him that safe lane farm, and the end result is Newbee.M essentially winning all their lanes. I mean, before 86 had a really good matchup going into that last game. He was playing the Lina, and he did a really good job getting that early CS and controlling the lane. In this case, the only reason why he even has more CS is because he's been able to fall back on all the jungle stacks that Earthshaker gave him, which isn't really winning your lane in technicality. It's just capitalizing on external resources. But we do see now, without the split, they're going to put some damage into the Brewmaster, but that damage, that cast, the Death Ward doing so much work, and Shadow Fiend will fall. Brewmaster now into some trouble, will get hit by the Void, but still alive for the moment. Dog 7 takes him down. Winter's Curse, again, pretty useless here. And they're going to actually just double edge onto the Spirit Breaker. Splinter Blast, the only thing that actually brings down the Centaur in the end. But we do see them trying to go kill off the Earthshaker, will not succeed. And hiding out here, they saw him on the side trap. They know the Night Stalker is somewhere in there, but he's going to TP out in time. So, as we see it, it's just going to be Newbee.M taking care of business, doing really well in that fight, making a favorable exchange, not a convincingly one, but still a favorable exchange, and taking the tower as well. So I'm curious how long it's going to take before HEK makes his move towards the Roche Pit. They've got Drunken Haze, they've got the Refraction, Meld Strike. I assume when all their ultimates are up and available, that's when you go for the pit, because you just have all that teamfight potential. Yeah, but for now, just farm up this double stack of Ancients, make some use of the side blade, cleave, and Blink Dagger on the Centaur. Gonna look to use it pretty soon. Mechanism on Dog 7, but low mana to support it. Yeah, one of the issues with Bristleback is he does have, although he has one of the best intelligence gains in the game, especially considering he's a strength hero, 2.8 is really good, but his base intelligence is horrible, and he just doesn't have that much mana to work with. So, Temple Assassin's just going to rush out the Desolator post Drums of Endurance, farming up another Ancient stack here. Works out pretty well for them, and yeah, just doing some good work here. And then this is the external resources I'm talking about. While the Shadow Fiend gets the hard camp stack, TA is the one to get the Ancients, and now she's going to get blinked on, so going to be trouble for her. She has an Invis Room, but they dust her already. She's caught out by the Fisher. She should be going down, but still so tanky. The Winter's Curse on to 4! Massive damage coming out on the Radiant side. A quadruple bash coming through from the Spirit Breaker charge, and another strike down Puerty. Death Ward from long range doing work, and HEK buys back into the fight, looking to close in on some kills. We already see the Stampede was used, the Centaur buying back too. The Earthshaker is dead to rights with one more right click, and that's going to leave the chase to go. Windwalk onto the Night Stalker, getting the Cyclone off, and going to be able to bring him down to earth with a couple of stuns to follow. Can they get that paralyzing cast? No, sir. Wasting your time down on low ground, but still, the traps, the right clicks, they get the kill anyways. Very dynamic fight. There were some buybacks from both sides. The Centaur and the Templar Assassin both buying back, but as far as the overall fight, the conclusion favors Newbee.M, I believe, because their only casualty was the Templar Assassin, and obviously they did some real work on the tail end with her. The Winter's Curse, that was just absolutely incredible from Cold Snap. His first couple were actually pretty bad in my mind, but that makes up for it by far. That was such a good curse. Locking in all these melee heroes, kind of as you'd expect. I mean, you have a 4 melee lineup. Winter's Curse is going to do work in a lot of fights, but this is where it really just pays for itself. I actually have no idea. It's like drafting 4 melee against Axe or Magnus. I feel like there's some real weakness to it. And this isn't even like a commitment. Like, you don't have to have a core hero's worth of commitment to bring that initiation on. You don't need a Blink Dagger on this Winter Wyvern for her to work. She just pops the Winter's Curse at this distance and they'll punish you. So they're looking to control the Ancients a little bit here. We'll see the jump in, big damage onto Hansu, trying to prevent that Winter's Curse, but he still gets it off onto Puerti, so he will fall in a moment. The Echo Slam coming out now. Death Lord is the response. Nice Requiem forcing everybody back, but in the end, it's just a 1-for-1. Centaur will be down for a little bit longer as he did buy back recently, but otherwise, it's just Newbee.M taking a slight edge with a minimal ultimate commitment. And actually, now it's going to be the Brewmaster forced back a little bit here, taking a lot of damage from Dog 7, but he's got that Vlad's armor, and he's going to be able to survive. 86 on the other hand, gets stunned out by the Cask. A very unlucky bounce. Look at all the creeps it could bounce to, and it bounces to the SF, but they pin him down with that. They bash back Dog 7 with the charge. Now bring it down Night Stalker. So many bashes, and they're going to be able to clean it up. Oh my gosh, a 5-4. 5-1 kill swing. It is just disastrous. I mean, obviously the Wyvern died first, and the Centaur is only now respawning, so you can count her in it and say it's 5-2. But it's still just a horrendous fight for Braveheart, and Newbee.M are starting to build the momentum we saw that gave them the first game here, only 17.5 minutes in.
Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
So, we're going to be seeing 10,000 plus net worth advantage now for Newbee.M going in for the Roche pit. They have everything they need here. They don't have the curse, but they do have the split, and that should be sufficient with this Desolator to go in for the Roche play. They even bottle up Banner and just falling back for a second, and back to business here, trying to fight down the Roshan. He has -8 armor right now, and we're going to see him brought down very quickly. Aegis will be going to, it looks like, the Templar Assassin. It makes a lot of sense. The smoke play coming through a little bit late. They have the Stampede. Will they make this play happen? All the ultimates are up for Newbee.M, and they're getting clumped up. They're all in a circle here. Puerti gonna go in, but the Winter's Curse on 4 again. Big damage still. Oh, the split will stop that double edge in its tracks, and they'll just chase them down here. They've taken down 3. They split and are gonna take down a 4th. And the Brewmaster survived through all that, despite a lot of focus being put into him. He still got that split off. And now it's suddenly 4-0. Winter's Curse, just so good this game. And it was a second pick Wyvern, if I remember correctly. They just didn't play into it very well. They didn't draft into it very well. Earthshaker goes down. Ouch. Game is hard, ladies and gentlemen. Game is hard. And yeah, that Winter Wyvern pick came out very early this draft. It was I think Spiritbreaker TA was the opener, and Winter Wyvern was the 3rd pick, if I remember correctly. And they just didn't draft around it very well.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
But here we are now, looking at the tier 2 tower.
Radiant's bottom
Going
tower
down pretty
is
quickly
under
to the
attack.
Desolator, right clicks. And there's really nothing Braveheart can do to hold. Or they're not even going to contest it at all. The Aegis is still up on the TA. The kill
Radiant's bottom tower
comparison here, I mean, just a level comparison first, is lowest level is 8 and 9 between Earthshaker, Nightstalker, and Bristleback. Higher level is 12 and 14 for heroes like the Brewmaster and the TA. I mean, yes, the SF has done alright, because he's usually the last man standing, thanks to being a ranged hero away from the curse, but it's just still been a really ugly showing. And we see the net worth graph take its toll. 15,000 net worth, 13,000 experience. And you can see it on the individual charts too. I mean, the off-lane Spirit Breaker is about to outpass that Shadow Fiend just because of team-wide how well Newbee.M are doing. A few perfect world hiccups here and there. Maybe a little bit of lag for the players, but hopefully not too much. And we do see the mechanism coming out pretty soon for the Wyvern. Now, a very common Winter Wyvern build is actually going for the Glimmer Cape because it combos up really well with the Cold Embrace, but in this case, he is going to just go for the Casual Cloak and then into the mechanism to try to go for those Guardian Greaves. And when he has that, oh boy, lot of sustainability for his teammates. In the meantime, though, real quick, it is worth mentioning the Witch Doctor did get picked off a little bit far forward here. Didn't have an Observer Ward, so wasn't really going for any play like that. Just kind of getting caught out, and they had the vision against him. So, good pickup for them, but it's not going to delay his core. This Witch Doctor has a 20-minute Aghanim Scepter. He's going to pretty much do whatever he wants from this point forward. That's another added utility to the Glimmer Cape is the Invis factor for a channeling spells like the Witch Doctor. The problem is the other aspect of its utility, which I think is even more important, is that magic resistance. And they have like 2 spells. The Double Edge, the Echo Slam, and the Requiem are the only spells that put out a lot of magical damage. Void and Fissure are there, but it's pretty weak. So they don't bother with the Glimmer Cape, they just keep on going.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Yeah, I think we're going to see a lot more of this Witch Doctor Winter Wyvern combo, because both of them give good sustained healing for pushing with the Voodoo Restoration and the Cold Embrace. The Death Ward has a cooldown of 80 seconds, the Winter's Curse goes from 110 down to 90. Those ultis sync up pretty well, and you can use it kind of like the Treant Witch Doctor combo, where you see Overgrowth into Death Ward, where the enemy is locked in place, unable to run, and less likely to be able to stun you. Winter's Curse, although it's smaller radius, can do a similar effect, and prevent you from even casting spells, so you can't stun him. So overall, I think that we're going to see a lot more Wyvern Witch Doctor from the superior drafters in 6.84, and we'll see exactly where that takes us in terms of the metagame. But for now, we're going to see Guardian's Graves come out on the Bristleback. Finally is able to pick it up. It's an interesting selection. It means that he can't really transition into a semi-carry, right? Because he doesn't have any real right-click damage. But he is going to be sustaining his team pretty well. He gets a nice passive to keep everybody up on low HP. But HEK is actually really caught out here. Cold Embrace finally comes through, and now the Brewmaster goes in with that BKB, hazing up the Shadow Fiend and just letting all hell break loose. They're ready for the next jump. There is a little bit of lag, but they're going to push through it. Fortification coming through. Cyclone out on the Bristleback. Who do they really want to focus on, though? It looks like they just want to take structures for now. The Brew Split will be waited out, and they have taken no damage with it. So HEK still doing what he can. On the flank there's the Night Stalker, but here's the jump in here. Winter's Curse going to be coming out in just a moment here. For now it's the Splinter Blast doing some good hits. BKB on both their right clickers and the TA, and the Spirit Breaker dominating on the front line. There is going to be a nice Psycho Slam, but immediately after the Winter's Curse, locking people down, and Newbee.M are still healthy, still wealthy, still getting kills. They mech themselves back up. They go in for the charge onto the Night Stalker. We're going to have to go to Skycam to watch both of these kills happen. Actually, it's just going to be the Night Stalker focused down here with one more earned charge. Maybe he'll go down just to the Malediction. Yes, he will. So he's about to pop, and now down go the racks as well. Newbee.M just putting on a clinic here in game number 2, just the way they executed in game 1. Braveheart had a draft that didn't seem ideal, and they weren't able to execute and outperform on the lanes. The end result is a 24-minute GG coming out for them, and Newbee.M playing this Wyvern just perfectly. Really good play from Cold Snap, from Hansu, from the team as a whole. Just great movement from Newbee.M, and they put 2 points on the board here in the group stage. So looking really good for themselves. Really needed those wins to secure themselves a top seed in the group stage here for iLeague China. And it's great to be able to cast it for you guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. If you did enjoy the commentary, look me up on twitter.com/blazecasting. Of course, check out beyondthesummit.tv. Looking at the Chinese main qualifiers, we've only got a few matches left, guys. We're in the tail end of this group stage. Only a few days left here. As far as Newbee.M's standing after those wins, yeah, they are now 5-5 in the group stage. Looks like they're just going to be a little bit shy of their chance of taking on the big ones, trying to get to the top of the top two of the group stage. But they still showed what they could do here, and they're going to be able to take that momentum into the open qualifier for TI5, knowing that they're confident in their drafts and confident in their ability to take wins off the teams of this caliber. This is the kind of team that they're going to expect to face in the TI5 Open. So I expect that they're considering this a nice skirmish, a nice warm-up round for something along those lines. But we're going to be going into another match here. Again, the schedule's a little bit topsy-turvy, so I'm just going to look in the lobby, and I'll let you guys know as soon as I know what we're looking at here, because some of the matchups did get scrambled around a little bit. But for now, we conclude Newbee.M versus Braveheart with a 2-0 for Newbee, looking really strong, and we'll be going into our third and final 2-game series for today. 2 more games coming at you guys. iLeague China. Thanks for tuning in.